You're about to watch me read Legendary by Stephanie Garber. This is the second book in the Caraval trilogy. If you haven't seen the first part of my reading vlog of me watching Caraval, definitely go watch that because there will be some spoilers about what happens in the first book, but obviously I'm not going to spoil anything that happens in the second book, if that makes sense. So my expectations for this book, I would say I'm expecting it to be as good as the previous one. However, I don't really like Donatella's character that much. I don't like that she basically traumatized Scarlet in the last book in an attempt to save her and get her away from the situation they had with her dad and like the arranged marriage. I just feel like she went about that in a really extreme way. Like, she didn't need to just kill everybody in front of her, everybody that Scarlet loved. Bad move on her part. But maybe she'll redeem herself in this book, because I mean, there's nothing really wrong with her exactly, but I don't know. I just don't like her choices, and I don't like that she tends to make Scarlet feel insignificant. That's just kind of the vibes that I was getting from her in the books. They love each other, of course, but she's a bit extreme, I would say. And so I do still have good expectations for this book because it is going to be following along her character. So from my understanding, Legendary, as we know, is going to be following Donatella, also known as Tella, who's Scarlet's sister from the first book. And she, as we know, kind of had some sort of deal with Legend in the first book that is now kind of being carried over. And so she has to participate in Caraval, and she's working with some criminal, and the plan is basically for her to find out Legend's real name. And once she does that, Caraval will cease to exist. So I'm not entirely sure why she wants to get rid of Caraval, or if that's just part of the deal that she made. I'm not entirely sure what the deal is. So I am very eager to see how this is all going to play out. So let's crack this book open. I'm now a little bit more than 100 pages into Legendary, and here are my thoughts so far. This story takes place exactly a day after Caraval finished, and so it's really fun to just see exactly what happened after. Oftentimes, it appears that books tend to go into the future a little bit after the previous one did. Obviously not all of them, but it is really great to be able to be oh, okay, yeah, I just finished the other book, and now it's kind of the next chapter in a way. And so it's really fun to just follow around the characters, kind of see them as they start to develop more, especially with Scarlet and Julian. We do get to see them, but the primary focus is on Tella. And we got to see Jax, and I love Jax. He's so great. He's so cool, especially knowing the development and character growth and kind of his situation in Once Upon a Broken Heart. This is his actual first introduction. I'm Jax! And being able to follow along with the mystery and the clues and what's gonna happen kind of vibes, because Tella is very different from Scarlet. Tella is a little bit more suited when it comes to not trusting people and trying to find the nuances in the words and the deals that they're making. And even though she's really good at it, she still does end up getting unexpected outcomes because she misunderstands what part of the deal is, even though she's really asking those questions. Whereas in Caraval, Scarlet was oh, okay, sounds good, and then just kind of goes through a lot of unfortunate circumstances. And so it is really fun to follow around a character as she's trying to navigate and is a little bit more prepared, but is still kind of getting into trouble with Caraval the game. So I am very excited because Caraval, it's 5 days in this one, and the difference is that they're saying it's all real. It's not just a game. And it's like, that's completely different than last time. So I am really excited to figure out where it's going to go. Caraval has just started in this book, so I am going to continue to read, and I will update you when I get to the halfway point. So see you then. I'm about halfway through Legendary now, and I really just love following the dynamic of Tella and her sister Scarlet. I think that I love the way that they kind of interact with each other. I like how different they are. I like as well following exactly the next day after the book ended and just continuing from there. Especially when it comes to the lies that were hidden away from the first book and how they're starting to show in the second book. And how the characters are reacting to that, especially Scarlet, because she had a really rough time in Caraval, and so you don't just get that like everything's perfect happy ending. This book is showing that next couple of days of like these lies are still like affecting her, people that lied to her, events that happen, and she's trying to handle it all, and she doesn't know like if she's okay with it or not. And then of course, Jax is in this book. Of course he's in this book. I love Jax. It's so interesting to see what he's like in his introduction versus how I know him from Once Upon a Broken Heart. So I've like kind of read it backwards, but I love being able to see him, especially because like he really is very ruthless and he's cruel and he is really the villain that he always said he was. And so I really just love Jax so much, and the apples, like, I love him. Although because I read Once Upon a Broken Heart, I do know what the big twist is about Jax, but that doesn't make me stop enjoying the book. I'm going to continue to read, and I will update you either like towards the end of the book or when I finish it. So I'll see you in my next update. I am almost done Legendary, and I really love just, again, the writing. I know I talk about Stephanie Garber's writing all the time, but there's a very good reason for it because her writing is just so good. She taps into like your sense of taste, your sense of smell, your sense of sight, like in just such an amazing way, and I can't get over it, and it's beautiful and it's gorgeous, and I am so hooked on it. The entire mystery surrounding Tella and Scarlet's mother, as well as the introduction of the Fates, is so good. I'm so happy with just how everything's progressing. Again, the pacing is really, really good. All the characters are fun. There's some great character development with Tella's character as well. You really get to understand her innermost thoughts and why she does the things she does. And it's fabulous. It's just so fabulous. And I'm just having such a great time. Just like reading this book, and then also just kind of learning about the Empress and all the Jax stuff. Jax, I love Jax. I'm really excited to see more about the Fates because like I know that they're important in Once Upon a Broken Heart, and I know that right now we've only kind of met Jax, but I want to meet more of them because it's so fascinating. And again, like the payment system within this series is so good. It's like, okay, yeah, we're to pay, you gotta like sacrifice X, Y, and Z, or okay, yeah, you can trade like some lies, you can trade some secrets, you can trade some truths. Like it's just so fun. I think one of my favorite things so far about Legendary is everything about the Church of the Stars. it's so cool because like the stars came before the fates, and then the fates came, and then the humans came after. And you actually get this like very, very short chapter where it's the point of view of the stars watching down from the sky. And I'm like, that is so cool. Like nobody writes anything like that. And it's magic. That's what it is. It's magical and I love it. So I will continue to read Legendary and I will update you when I finish the book. So I will see you soon. Last night I finished Legendary, and okay, I got really confused because when I updated you last, I actually only had like 10 pages left, but I got tricked because it has like those like preview to the next book in there. Yeah, but anyways, I enjoyed this book. I think that the romance in this one was way better than in Caraval. In Caraval, it was like, oh, okay, I guess they like each other. Cool. But this one, there was kind of that like build up of it where it's like, I'll just kiss this guy once and like, that's it. But then the way that he would kind of come in and help her and she would be like, oh, I do like him. No, I gotta stay away from this guy. And so there was a lot of like pushing and pulling and trying to understand, like Tella trying to understand her own feelings and trying to figure out like, is this right? Is this part of the game? And I just think that it was really well done, especially like the ending. Like, I don't care how predictable this book is. Anything really within this series, it's just so enjoyable and I'm like, yes, I want to read more. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed Legendary. I did come in being like, am I gonna like this one? Because Tella's character, not really my favorite. I definitely like Scarlet more, but she kind of grew on me throughout the entire book and I was like, yes, Tella, you go, do your thing. And then also just like how much she cares about people, but she's also like, but she also takes a lot of risks. So her character stresses me out a lot, but she's fun to follow around for sure. And so I imagine she's the main character for the third one as well. And I'm wondering if there's gonna be like a wrap up about like why certain things were happening to her when it turned out like it wasn't what she thought it was. I really hope so. I hope that that end is kind of like tied up, but that's what the third book is for. So I will be awarding Legendary a total of 4 stars today. I thought that it was great. I thought that the pacing was really good. Again, the writing, so beautiful. The world is so much fun. I love being immersed into it. And then also just the dynamic of the two sisters who are so different from each other but love each other so hard. And again, I am just obsessed with the payment system in this world and how everything is starting to link more about like the fates and what they're all about, and you learn more about legend, and it's just so much fun. And then I think one of my favorite parts as well is really how it comes from the next day, because it's like Julian and Scarlet, right? They had that cute little happy ending, but then you get to see them continue, like evolve, like what happens after that happily ever after, and you get to watch the characters grow and learn and interact and make mistakes and learn, and it's just so great. I love it. So the next book, of course, that I'll be reading is Finale, which is the final book in the Caraval trilogy. I really hope that it lives up to my expectations and has an actual ending that actually ties stuff up. Again, thinking about Once Upon a Broken Heart and how upset I am still about that ending, and I hope that there's actually going to be a 4th book coming that I just don't know about. But yeah, I am still really excited. So if you're interested in watching me read Finale or any other book on my Never Ended TBR, definitely hit subscribe if you haven't already and turn on the bell notification. That way you get notified anytime a new video comes out. If you enjoy that the trees have magically just started sprouting in the background, definitely hit that like button, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!